Good morning. Oh, wait. No, cancel that. I was hitting the wrong buttons early in the morning. Good morning to you. You have joined the Morning Cup of Coffee with Mary May. Let me grab my sip of coffee. And we have our learning nuggets, leadership nuggets as on Tuesday mornings where I join you in your commute and or as you are preparing for your day to kind of share some nuggets. So I hope that you have your cup of coffee or your tea. You can share in the comments which one is your favorite. Are you a coffee drinker or are you a tea drinker? But before you make any decisions, in any day, you got to enjoy, a cup of coffee with me. As I'm always going to share every Tuesday morning some leadership transformation nuggets that's going to help you be able to kind of set the stage. And if you're seeking a promotion, if you're seeking to like level up your career, like what is it that you actually look for? Hey Terrence, you don't have to have your coffee, but hey, thank you for dropping by. Because your morning started a few hours earlier than just now. So I hope that you are safe out there on the roads. Um, so, in today's conversation, I want you to realize that as a leader in your space, and whatever that means for you in your career, you are an influencer and you're always making an impact. And so, when you think about your influence, your impact that you have with different individuals, there is a process that you go through to prepare for your day and prepare for how it is that of what matters to you. And so today, conversation is that I wanted to talk to you all about the corporate costume. Yes. I know we think about costumes for like a masquerade ball or for, like certain events that happen on the calendar throughout the year. But there is a corporate costume that we often play and dance in and out of. And it could be with our language, it could be with our attire, like in regards to what it is that we wear. And it could definitely impact our mood. So when you are trying to break the glass ceiling and level up in your career, whatever that may be in your lane of genius, you have to be mindful of how are you mapping out your day and how are you influencing based off of your corporate costume. And so I want to peel that back in this quick little drive through in the morning as we get ready for work. And I want to share, like who am I and what my purpose is. So I have been a relationship therapist for over 27 years, and in the scope of my work I have learned around leadership and helping individuals in middle management, possibly just like you, break that glass ceiling as a leadership strategist by positioning themselves and shifting the narrative so that they can have clarity on understanding their purpose and how it is that they are an influencer in their career. And so, over the course of time, and presenting at different conferences and so forth like that, conversations with high level thinkers, people who are, leveling up and trying to just live life differently, authentically, possibly have more money. Of course, that's not possibly, but have more money, be able to travel and do what it is that they enjoy. You don't think about the gymnastics that you play with your costume every single day. And depending on, your lane of genius and your lane of work that it is that you do, your corporate costume is a whole process. Like it's a whole package as you prepare for your day. So if you think about either when you prepared the night before, because we talked about a couple weeks ago, the success rituals start by preparing the day before, not the morning of, but the day before. But sometimes some people still do it the morning of. When you're in the morning, the alarm goes off and you are thinking about who is it that I have to meet today? What is it that I have to obtain? And how do I need to show up for that? So in that morning ritual and that process, your brain is already in active mode of how is it that I have to put this costume so that I can secure the deal. So like say if you have they say you have like relaxed work setting in a general day, that may be like a blouse or a blazer, skirt or slacks or whatever that is. But if it's casual, then you have to think about who is on my slate for today, be it virtual work or, in-person work. And if you are going to meet with certain investors or prospects that may want to do work with you, the mental gymnastics or the costume that you have to play on a day-to-day basis is, what does my hair look like? Is it going to be like approvable and acceptable? What tone or what words am I able to use in this particular conversation? And then also, so we did the hair, the words. What outfit is going to be that power statement outfit? That's a lot of work before you even hit that snooze button and get moving for the day. And it's like, wouldn't you want to like just be able to just say, I'm wearing whatever and my capacity is this. So therefore, what I'm wearing, how I'm saying it, that how I'm going to deliver is how I'm going to deliver. However, when you're in corporate spaces or in certain work environments, you have the challenge of ensuring that your full exterior matches the capacity of your interior. And sometimes that may not always match up to what it is that is important to you. So I'm reading the comments. So would I agree that people are judgmental? So not necessarily that they're judgmental, but people have a framework in regards to, and thank you for that question, in regards to how it is that they think performance has to exist. And sometimes that thought process is that you can only perform successfully when you are dressed a certain way, when you talk a certain way, when do a presentation a certain way. Like, who would do a presentation allegedly without PowerPoint? Or who would do a presentation and not give you the research and the outcomes? Or who would show up to the meeting in jeans and boots, or jeans and like, it's not slacks? And so it's like you're communicating how serious you are about our conversation based off of how it is that you are dressed and prepared for that conversation and that meeting. So you have to always be thinking, good morning, Miss Net. You always have to be thinking around, what is the strategy and what is it that I have to position myself to ensure that, again, my exterior, my hair, my look, my outfit, my, possibly for some women, we have to worry about if our purse and our shoes match, because it's a part of the corporate costume that really has nothing to do with our capacity. And so it creates like a place or a placeholder in the conversation when we're trying to level up and build ourselves into the next level of career, our promotion, positioning ourselves to secure a bigger contract, that all before our morning coffee, we have experienced a battle where we have to divorce ourselves. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. So if any of you are not familiar with me, I use this hashtag daily divorce of self, because daily divorce of self is, we're always qualifying what it is that we know that we know. We're always qualifying and trying to show up that we have what it takes for whatever we are being introduced to. And sometimes the way that melanated individuals show up in leadership has a large impact on their cultural dynamic and things that they bring into thank you, Terrence, into the conversation. So it's like when you are experiencing this battle, again, first thing in the morning, it's a daily divorce of self. How do you choose to function and move forward effectively? How do you choose, or how do you live with yourself with this battle? Are you authentically being who you are, or do you have to put yourself in like handcuffs and limit how it is that you show up accordingly? So in thinking about that, it's almost like it makes me think about, like, we always talk about Allen Iverson saying we talking about practice, but we talking about a wardrobe, we talking about your credentials, we talking about capacity, but we are also talking about the emotions and the rituals connected to this. Because when you are trying to position yourself to have a better life for yourself, to be able to create the goals that you would like to live on your own terms, to be able to look and navigate some of these difficult conversations, you can't ignore that the competing agendas of all of that, again, you've only hit the snooze button. And you're going through the scope of your day of all the people that you know that you'll come across, but there's people who you don't know. There's office politics that you don't know. There's other things that's going to come across your day that create this battle of you just being authentically you. Because um we always possibly want to, kind of look at how it is that we show up in different spaces. But then having that confidence unapologetically that where we are is not where we want to be. And sometimes you have to change the way that you, not change, kind of assimilate and create your natural footprint without looking at any of the stereotypes, the stigma, the challenges, the automatic thoughts that you have when you're doing that daily divorce of self, where you end up moving yourself away from the promotion or away from the conversation where people are considering you for that next level. So yes, your timeliness, your exterior, again, from head to toe, your outfit, your hair, how it is that you put your words together, how you present in the meeting, like all of these things have really nothing to do with the capacity and the strength and the influence that you bring to the team. Really has nothing to do with the capacity to get the job done. They already knew that you can do that. However, because of some cultural self-imposed thought processes, we often have this battle where, and it becomes very, very exhausting, where we're playing this mental gymnastics of, am I good enough? And am I prepared for what it is that is needed? Because we prepare from what side we know on the side of the table that we're sitting on, but we don't have any idea what that experience of a day-to-day, daily gymnastics, daily divorce of self looks like when we get to the leveling up that we're looking for. And sometimes we can have bricks, I'm gonna call them bricks, in our mindset, in our energy, in around us, like people who are fueling us in a negative way, that is impacting that influencer leadership mindset that we should have. And not taking inventory to what that looks like or how that is experienced or what we're doing that we think has great intentions to kind of serve other people, we end up like backpedaling ourselves out of the opportunity to kind of expand and grow. And usually we want to plant seeds. We want to see some growth in some, elevation in some particular way. We usually have different timelines in regards to what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. And it looking a certain way on a day-to-day basis, we also have to be mindful of what role do we play in our human behavior? What role do we play um in how it is that we have intentions around what's holding us back? What role do the lived experiences, because sometimes our lived experiences can have different challenges that we believe we can shed away when we walk into the workplace that's happening all around us, but that corporate costume causes you to constantly be in a battle and to constantly have to kind of straddle and show up and not have any emotions or show any exhaustion. Because again, if you're trying to level up, all things matter, and all things matter, and all things are like up for grabs for people to consider, even when they have conversations to say, oh, we understand your lived experience, or we understand what is impacting you on the outside of your capacity of work. And in the appearance of you maintaining this corporate costume, it seems as if it could be possible support. But if the bricks, the things that weigh you down, the things that distract you, the things that the people and places that cannot see what you see for your leveling up in your career, if they say, well, why are you trying to get this particular promotion? You're good where you are. Nobody really wants to stay good where they are. If you truly want to be that impact and be the leader that has the influence that you seek and desire, then the impact that you seek and desire is always going to cause for you to have an interpersonal interaction where you're reviewing what goals you have made, honor and celebrate those, and then prepare for how those goals are going to level up and move up, in your life. Because in playing the mental gymnastics, you have to be able to also play or engage with individuals in this office politics, that every situation you have to process what those bricks are, because the bricks can be either external, as far as like a lived situation outside of work. It can be a lived situation as far as maybe you had a bad conversation with someone at work. But the mental gymnastics and you always trying to wear the corporate costume in your language, in your words, and how it is that you present can really become exhausting. And in the process of it living, the reality of your capacity becomes challenged. And so that work life harmony that you're looking for, you're not sure where that energy comes that makes it look unappealing. Because every single day, no matter where it is that you are and you are leveling up or moving out, positioning yourself so that you can get what it is that you would like out of your career, for your family, and for your individual growth, every day is an interview. Every single day is an interview. Every single conversation is an interview, because people plant seeds in every interaction that they have with you to be able to say, okay, I think that this person can be a great team leader, or I think this person can really take on this next capacity, and um match it with the pay increase. Like, it should be unapologetically being able to match it with the pay increase, so that you know your value, they know your value, and the value that you contribute to that hour is going to help everyone elevate around you. So people do have issues with change, but you have to always think about, are you living for people, or are you living for yourself? And in the fact of living for yourself, it really kind of takes the voices of the outside situations that, again, may look like the bricks. It really takes you being able to step aside and saying, how can I show up unapologetically and authentic? And how can I show up in a way that people will recognize the influences that I have, and I no longer have to tiptoe? If it makes you feel confident, you don't have to tiptoe to make somebody else feel comfortable. Because if you're trying to make people feel comfortable, a part of that corporate costume that you have, not only for yourself, is that you're also trying to people please. People pleasing and leveling up don't go in the same sentence, because you can't people please and secure that next level position and really satisfy what the capacity is that your natural footprint in leadership is supposed to look like, feel like, and be like. So know that you are an influencer. Know that you are in your lane of genius, and possibly you may learn that as you begin to remove those bricks that tend to hold you stagnant and say, we comfortable here, we don't need to level up, we don't need to do anything extra, you and team too much, you're why do you need to go and process something that is hurtful in order to kind of level up and do something that's positive? You don't want any bricks when you sit at that table and you're making the shift and position yourself to be on the other side of leadership, the other side of authentically walking in your lane of genius and being able to have the career and live in life that you desire. So it's like being mindful of how it is that you show up, being mindful that you have natural gifts that you bring to every energetic exchange that you have with someone. And in that energetic exchange, again, these are parts of the puzzle that make you whole. And so if you have to have a real talk conversation to kind of really know what those bricks are to break that glass ceiling so that you know how it is and how you can show up and how you can make it, leveling up your career, leveling up your relationships, leveling up all those who are around you, realize that it is a 2 millimeter shift. 2 millimeters is very, very short. You just have to decide and choose you. You have to decide and choose that how it is that you choose to play within the corporate costume, because there's some parts about the corporate costume that we don't have any control over. However, we can train people by us being consistent, us having the capacity to show our lane of genius unapologetically, like if we're doing it without a problem. But in us training them and helping them understand who it is that we are, and we're not tiptoeing, we're dealing with our bricks. Any ripple in the matrix that comes that may distract us in any particular way, realize that not dealing with it is your choice, and your 2 millimeter shifts that you choose to have it as self imposed, and you're self directing the limitations of your ability to move up or not. So it's like a question. Do you choose to level up? Do you choose to confront and deal with that inner struggle, that inner brick that may be holding you stagnant in your career, in your relationships? It seems like everywhere that you go, you have the same or similar outcome. And the common denominator would be you. The common denominator would be you're attracting energy, or you're attracting individuals that may not match how it is that you want to be. So you might have to look at your circle and look at how it is that you engage with individuals, and if everything that you're saying, doing is not necessarily comfortable for you, because comfortable is a buzzword, and that being a buzzword, it is also possibly a limitation, that if you're comfortable, you're not growing. So comfortable is not the way to go. If you're always, leveling up, you're always shifting gears. You're always, looking at, okay, well, how can I build myself in a different way? You're always looking at where is the opportunity that you could just be unapologetically and step into your lane of genius, and, looking at how it is that you can definitely, emulate and move forward. So that daily divorce of self, when you hit that snooze button and you're looking at who it is that you want to be and who it is that you desire to be, what's your current reality and what's your preferred reality, and then what's in the middle in between that's kind of holding you at a standstill. I would say if you took a look at all of the dead weight that's around you, or the dead weight that you continue to entertain on a day-to-day basis, you will begin to see why leveling up has been so difficult for you. But oftentimes we think that we could just sweep that stuff under the rug, and that it will not influence how it is that you are at work, because we compartmentalize different situations in different places. So yes, the related bricks to the building of layers of a strong foundation of life is like a house. But is your financial house in order? Is your relationship house in order? Is your career house in order? If one or two or all of these are not in order, and order is an arbitrary word, because what order looks like for one person is going to look different for the other person. However, you have to be able to know that your foundation has the pillars that you can consistently implement and be effective in doing so. The thing is that we have lived experiences that we tend to want to sweep under the rug, as opposed to changing the lens and the frame on how we see them, and whereas they may be painful, they may be hurtful. Again, we're the common denominator, but we got to look at what did we learn out of each experience? What did we learn out of each partner that we've been in a relationship with? What did we learn from our past supervisors and our current supervisors? There may be things that we didn't like. However, that corporate costume kept us there for a certain reason. And when we were there, we poured into our toolkit both things that we wanted to do more of and things that we want to do less of. But that 2 millimeter shift that you take to recognize how it is that you show up, you have to authentically be willing to break that glass ceiling and be unapologetically in how you move forward. But those bricks can be the reason and what can be learned and identified should you choose to have a different conversation with me and have a discovery session where you can kind of look at what are some of the patterns, what are some of the things that you're not paying attention to that is putting you in a standstill in your leadership and leveling up career. And so, like, what are those things? If that's you, I would say feel free to grab some time on my calendar at workwithmarymay.com and being able to, figure out how it is you can make these 2 millimeter shifts. This corporate costume can definitely be broken into parts and have multiple conversations about what that actually looks like. We just did the nugget part of your morning routine and being able to kind of prepare for what that will look like on a day-to-day basis, or what it is that and get what it is that you are supposed to function in by your design, because you have your own personal lane of genius. And in you having your own personal lane of genius, it's like, how can you respect who it is that you are if you're not authentically being you every single day that you show up? And sometimes we think authentically being us uses comedy, is, we just kind of going with the flow, we just being accommodating, but you end up losing a sense of yourself, and you end up losing a sense of what it is that you do that brings you joy, that brings other people joy. The comedy is good sometimes, but it could also be dismissive. So what is it that you need to attract and deal with so that you can be able to unapologetically seek that promotion, have better relationships, be able to be in spaces where people could talk just like you at that higher level, as opposed to allowing the people around you to be those emotional and physical bricks. So I thank you for joining me for another Tuesday morning cup of coffee or tea with me with the Leadership Nuggets and Mary May. Again, I'm here every Tuesday morning at 7:30 in your morning commute, or whatever it is that you're doing at this time of the day, or whenever you receive this message. But I thank you for engaging in the conversation. Thank you for those who were here live, and your comments to help guide and flow the conversation. I hope that I have served you in a certain way that you can now apply or think, about how it is that you can show up. And again, if there's any way that I could support your leadership journey, and leadership is an arbitrary word. You can catch any of my other, videos that kind of talk about that, because everybody is a leader, whether it's in your title or not. We all have a unique footprint on this world. So I would like to thank you there, and you have a great, wonderful, and productive Tuesday. See you next week.